You can probably see in the sanctuary cam here, you can probably see the light coming through. That's not a still picture, that's actually a live picture of the sun coming through with about, what, 8 inches of snow outside? It's beautiful. And I was noticing, I go for a walk in the park every day, and yesterday I noticed there are these young oak trees at the entrance of the park at the Sherbrooke corner, and Sherbrooke and, how do you say our street, Gerard, and it's still holding on to its leaves. There's about 2 or 3 junior-sized trees still holding on to their leaves. And, just a show of hands, how many of you have a tree near you, an oak or a birch probably, and still holding leaves? Yeah.
We had.
Oh, they finally let go, right?
No, the oak is dead.
Oh, the oak is dead. Oh, that's too bad.
I noticed the same thing around them.
Yeah, they're all around. Same thing in North Carolina, which is
wow.
It's now in the 70s there. But did you know, I don't know if it's all trees or just certain ones, it's not so much the leaves falling, it's that the body of the tree closes off its connection to the leaf, and that's what actually makes the leaf fall. It's not the leaf's decision. It's the tree's decision to say, oh, I'm done, I'm releasing you now, and it closes off, and then poof, it goes. So why these trees hold on so long through the whole winter when other trees are already bare and their arms are open for the emergence of spring and their buds are just about ready? There's some trees there, if you look at the very tops, I think there might be maple trees. They have these clusters of buds like ready to go, and they keep getting a little redder every day. They're almost coming, despite the snow, and the cold. So I want to use that as our metaphor today, because today we're going to be creating a human web of light together, Zoom and in the sanctuary. And we are made of light, right? In fact, the Fillmores talk about it in their teachings, right? We are divine energy. Well, light is not just a metaphor, but maybe it's a frequency, it's energy, right? We're all energy. Quantum physics says so, right? And there are different frequencies, and we can shine our light. Like, how many songs and sayings are there that you can think of about shining our light, let your light shine? It'd be fun to do a song like that, We'll have to think of one, So the idea of light is also a great metaphor for spring coming, right? And the light of life. So that's what we're going to not just talk about, but experience today. So for those of you on Zoom, you can pretend you have a leaf, but I did ask the trees across the street to donate some leaves to our service today. So we have a basket that we passed around. And it's kind of a remembrance. You touch it, it's kind of a remembrance. Here, I'll hold it up close. It's kind of a remembrance of fall. Thank you. So I'm in the center. I know I can't do that because it's on speaker view. And Maya is still, is she pinned or something? Okay, hold on. Technical change here.
Kate usually does something on the right and chooses a name or something, I think.
What if I spotlight myself? Because it thinks Maya is the speaker. Let's see if that works. Yes. Okay, good. Yay, now you can see me. Oh, now you could really see the leaf, right? Here you go. This is what the leaf looks like. Look how well preserved it made it through the winter, right? And it's not as brittle as I would have thought either. So clearly the tree is still giving it nutrition and hasn't said, I'm done with you yet, right? I'm not quite finished. And I thought it was interesting, the oak trees in the Celtic nature-based traditions, there's a thing called oak knowledge, right? Did you know that oak trees get so big in certain places that they have their own ecosystems? So in the south where I live, the trees, their arms are like the size of tree trunks, right? Say big tree trunks, big arms, they get so huge. They have worlds on each arm, moss, ferns, right? Little beings, might have mushrooms, right? They have all kinds of lichen, all kinds of things live on their arms. And as you go up into the canopy of the trees, there's whole things up there that you don't see on the ground, right? All kinds of beings and life that they keep track of. And oak, they have food sources, acorns. A lot of people they eat acorns, right? You have to cook them a certain way. You can make flour out of them, but they're a source of all kinds of things. And they create communities around them of other oak trees. But oak trees don't just talk to other oak trees. They also support other kinds of trees. And they have unique life in their roots and in the soil with their mycelium. So even though we see trees above the ground, like, oh, there's 8 trees over there. What we don't see is underground. They're all connected by the same network of organisms and mycelium and fungus and bacteria and insects, all kinds of things. The living soil, the real tree community is underneath the soil. And the tree trunks are just things that are poking up, and then their canopies are what connect earth and heaven. That's how I think about it, especially when you have some giant trees, which there are, right across in the park. And speaking of that, if those of you in town, if you want to join me on this coming Thursday and next coming Thursday, I'll lead a couple of mindful walks for about a half an hour before the noon meditation on Thursday. So come on over and we can experience whatever is out there, whatever the weather. We'll have a mindful experience where we can tap into some of that visually and with our senses in not a stroll, not a hike, a mindful walk, a mindful stroll. So what I would like you to do is, I want to start with to make a web of light on purpose. We are already light and we're already in community, so we already have a web of light. But how do we really amplify that? How do we really shine forth? The first thing we need to do is kind of, as we did last week, we used the metaphor of water in a stream, and we said, well, we're already full of divine energy flowing through us. We are expressions of the divine. We just have to remove some of the rocks that are creating turbulence in the water that might be blocking the water's flow. And we did a nice meditation removing some of those stones and rocks, maybe boulders. Maybe there's whole dams in there that we have to blow up, and get rid of, right? But we're going to do the gentle things today. So today we're going to start by doing a meditation, releasing our leaves, right? We probably have a few leaves hanging around that need to be released on our arms and our ears, behind us. There's probably maybe something in our heart. I woke up this morning, I was like, I must have ate too much chocolate. I was like, what is the matter here? And I had to do my, little morning thing to get feeling good, but I just had to get the flow going again, get that flow going. So I think of that flow today as I'm an oak tree and I'm holding on to some leaves and I haven't yet closed off the connection. In fact, if you look at the stem of these, see how it's a little green in there? All right, it's a little bit green. I don't know if you can see that at home. But that's why this leaf isn't quite brittle. It just feels like a fresh fall leaf. So the tree is still, it's saying, hey, I'm feeding you, right? So maybe we're not ready to release all of the things that maybe emotions or patterns or memories or stories. We're not ready to release all of that. No one needs to release all of those things. But let's just clear out a little more room so that there's more room for our light to shine out. So we have more to connect with when we do our human web of life. So I'd like to invite our friend Sandra to play some music in the background while we do our meditation, and I'll guide you through it. So I invite you to just take a deep breath to signal your body that you're relaxing. Maybe take 2 or 3 and settle into your seat. Feel your back resting against a chair. Feel it holding you up so that every muscle can just relax. Just relax. Take it easy. And let the sound of that spring-like music on the piano feel like sunshine on your branches if you were an oak tree. Feel the breath of the divine surrounding your tree trunk. And feel the sunshine in this moment coming down and coming through the crown of your head like the crown of a tree. Open the crown. Let that sunlight in. Let that divine sunlight in. And feel that golden honey-like light flowing down the top of your head, relaxing. And when you find things that may be a pattern or a habit, a feeling, a way of being, a memory, or perhaps a story that you no longer need to tell, let it fall like a leaf. Release the leaf. And imagine it gently falling to the ground. And let that golden honey divine sunlight just fill the top of your head. And this is slow like honey. Slow, slow, slow. Let it surround your ears, the back of your head, behind your eyes, down into your mouth and your jaw, your throat, the back of your neck. Feel it relaxing and letting go of any leaves that you're ready to let go. Feel it flowing down the front of your chest and your shoulders. Your upper back. Let it flow into your heart. And if you feel anything, an emotion, or a change of anything that's no longer needed, let that leaf be released. And imagine that divine honey light flowing down both arms. And as your arms are filled with that divine light, let any leaves you find be released. Like a tree, just close off the connection and let them be released. Let that light flow out the tips of your fingers like the tips of branches. And now let that light move farther down your body. Filling your liver and your kidneys, your small intestine, your large intestine. Imagine it flowing down your spine. Releasing any leaves that are no longer of have a purpose. And continue letting that divine golden sunlight flow throughout your hips, releasing, soothing, comforting. And let it flow down your upper legs. Letting go. Releasing the leaves. Releasing the patterns. Releasing habits. Releasing stories. Making room for your inner light to shine. Feel that divine honey light filling your knees, the back of your legs, your shins and your calves, and surrounding your ankles, flowing out your toes. With your imagination, look down at your feet and see all the leaves you've released, surrounding your trunk, resting on the ground. And see the leaves lovingly composted by Mother Earth. They've served you well, and now they'll be recycled into new spring energy, feeding new growth at your roots. And return your attention to the crown of your head, the crown of your tree. And sense your whole being filled with that divine honey light. And release any last leaves that you still feel. And let them gently fall to the earth. Thank you, Sandra. That felt lovely, a lovely accompaniment for this beautiful releasing process of our leaves. Let's just bask in that for a moment. That feeling of rest, comfort, maybe freedom. Maybe we can feel the stirrings of emergence of new things and feel our own light having more room to shine forth. Before we do our next step, I want to tell a little bit of a story here. So Church 21, the pastor, Jordan, he said, "Chris, have you been watching the new show called Chosen? It's a series based on the Bible. It's like 3 seasons or 3 seasons with maybe 8 or so episodes underneath. It's free. You can get an app to watch it on your phone or your computers." And sure, I'll check it out, I'll check it out. And it's very interesting. And I was reminded that in the stories of Jesus' healings, either people touched him like his robes, or he touched them, or just being in his presence, especially those that are in his presence that he's giving attention to, that he's looking at with his eyes. For some, that's all it takes. He looks them in the eye. There's this one story about a lame man who was lame his entire life, and he was, for 40 years or more, he was, waiting to be healed, and Jesus just kneels down and, in his Jesus way, said a few words and invited him to get up and pick up his bed and walk away. And you could see in the exchange of their gazing at each other, this connection. And you could see the thinking of the man like, well, wait a minute, though. I'm lame. How am I going to get up? And for a moment. And then you see him, being taken over by the thought and the realization, like, oh, I believe this is true. I believe this now. I feel this. I have this confidence. I feel it in me. And this exchange takes like 2 or 3 minutes. And he gets up and he takes his bed and he walks away. There are a lot of stories. That's just one, right? There's several. I'm in like the halfway through the second season here. It's such a wonderful reminder, because in the healing practices, the modalities that I've learned, like esoteric healing and shamanism, a very similar thing occurs. It's not, we are the facilitators. We're not doing the healing. We're facilitating the recognition in the client of their divine wholeness, their health, their wellness. It might be temporarily unavailable. It might be like the lame person. It might be that's just not how their life is. You got to look at the reality. I'm lame. This is, I'm hopeful to be touched by grace and to have an opening where I can feel my divine wholeness. And Myrtle and Charles Fillmore, their whole beginning was around helping people recognize, feel, see, believe, and trust that they could make a connection with their inner divine Christ consciousness or God or divine, whatever your word is, the God of your understanding. Making a connection with that divine wholeness, with that divine light, and trusting and believing, despite appearances, that progress can be made. And so facilitating that opening, even if it's just for a few moments, provides relief. Even if minutes later, things go back to the way they were, it's that opening that creates all those possibilities. Not just for health, but for everything in our lives. Love, power, light. I don't mean power over, but power of life within ourselves, right? Joy. Creating those openings is what I'm motivated to help facilitate. And I love that as a community, the Unity Center of Montreal is open to different ways of feeling that opening, making that connection back to your own divine light and own divine wholeness. So thank you for doing the releasing exercise. So now that we have a little more room, an opening has been created, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, to feel our divine light. Now I'm going to walk you through a process where we can combine our lights in a very powerful way, physically here in the sanctuary and on Zoom, and shine forth and feel that flow. It takes the power of our imagination, but I know you guys are very skilled at your imagination. This is actually a practice from one of my shamanic teachers, Sandra Ingerman, in her book, Medicine for the Earth, and on her website. She has instructions for this. And in all of her webinars and things that she does online, she talks about this a lot. And it's all about practicing shining our light, practicing shining it bigger and brighter. And just our presence alone can create openings for ourselves and for other people to feel their divine wholeness and their divine light. You know, despite learning from her, despite all of the practices that she knows and teaches, the way she actually has sessions with people now is kind of like the way Jesus does it in that program, Chosen. She sits with them. Sometimes they're laying down, sometimes not. Sometimes she touches them, sometimes not. And she's just opening up to her divine presence and sharing that presence with them physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Just being in the moment in that divine presence. That presence is enough. And you've probably been around people. Maybe you went to an event, or maybe you ran by somebody or experienced someone in the grocery store where there's something about their presence that touched your heart and created an opening, right? Maybe they didn't say anything or do anything in particular. It's just their presence. Well, what is that? That's their divine light shining forth. So imagine how powerful we could be even without even knowing it, like a stone in a drop of a pond, right, with the ripples. You don't know where all those ripples ultimately go. You can't keep track of them. They go too far, right, to the edges of the pond and maybe beyond. It's like that with our light. It's like that with energy. So let's experience this. I have a special music. When I was in Michigan with a community of shamans and healers, we would do this at every full moon together. We would create the web of light, and we would play this music that just helps transport us, not up and out, right? That's not what we're doing. We're not going up and out to create a web. We're staying in our own light, in our own presence, in our own, you can think of it as in our own heart, in our own being right here. Our embodied presence is where we're beaming the light from, right? So I'm going to guide you through. Let me just find our music here. And let me share my screen so that you can all hear it. Okay. Oh, you can see that I've been playing this. Let me start at the beginning. All right. Please join me in, again, closing your eyes if you'd like, and relax. Tune into your openness, the whole beingness that was just beautifully cleansed by the golden light. And tune into your energy and your heart. And see if you can let yourself shine. See if you can open yourself up to shine out in all directions. Your beautiful divine self. To the sound of the ocean and the music. Feel your feet grow roots into the ground just like an oak tree. Feel your roots connected with everyone else in this community today on Zoom, in the sanctuary. We are connected by the living soil of our beingness. Our roots touch, the mycelium network touches. All the energetic support that we have, we're like one giant tree network, one forest. And as our roots of light connect with each other, Imagine our hearts connected. Imagine our souls connected. And let your light shine forth. As you pour forth your divine light from inside, like a star shines forth. Know that that light can never be depleted. You are an expression of the divine, which is unlimited and infinite. This is the source of your energy. This is the source of your light. It can never be depleted. Feel the light we've created together bursting forth from the earth through our light roots. And as you open your eyes, see how long you can remain holding that energy, being embodied as the light continues to shine forth from you. And as you open your eyes, things might look a little different. You might look a little different. Take a look at your hands. Take a breath just to anchor that experience into your body. A great way to do that is take a deep breath in and then hold it. 1, 2, 3. Now let it out. And that holding it helps you just crystallize that whole sensation and memory in your body and mind and emotions. Thank you for experiencing the release of things that no longer serve you today as a leaf, and for having the courage to embody your own shining forth with fewer leaves in the way, and especially the courage to connect with others with your own light and feel your own energy and that of others perhaps bursting forth and penetrating our entire presence of our community, everyone on Zoom and everyone here in the sunshine of the sanctuary today. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.